Hey everybody, welcome. Let's go ahead and drop in a plane. I'll go ahead and solidify that with even thickness, just kind of bring it down, and then I want to apply. And I've got a different version I'm working on here, and I like keeping a lot of things. Just keep it real quick. I like keeping everything in the end panel because I use right click. I don't have the context set up like if you're in here in preferences, key maps for selection for mouse button, I'm right click. If you're the other way, then you'll have the context menu on the right button, but I do not. That way I kind of move the mouse around like this, and that's just how I operate. So I'm keeping a lot of things here, so I don't have to keep reaching and doing a lot of different selections. I did update and working on the edit menu as well for some more complex face selections, which is going to be helpful. I now have the positive negative on the toollet, the auto mirror symmetrize, and of course you have your orientations, and then you have to check that on because sometimes you may not want it on, but check it on. And then you have an apply scale, rotations, the axis is in here, so if you wanted to hit apply scale, that's now okay, it's all zeroed out. And so then I've got a 45-degree rotation, and let me see here. I'll just throw a loop cut in anywhere, doesn't matter. Screwed that up, otherwise you can't see the 90. So there you go, you can see the 90 will flip that for you, the rotations. And then when you're using that, apply the scale, the toollet will go across the different areas respectively, so you can make some cool shapes. Then the bevel modifier has a preset that will give you a near flawless bevel every single time. Just make sure to come down here and click the shade auto smooth. It does both things for you at the same time. And then obviously some of the usual stuff here, the show axis, and then the hide the grid, keep the grid out of there, and or to predominantly show one model over the other, and they will individually be checked. Each one of them will have their own checkbox, so don't get convoluted with that. And I'll just delete that out. Now for this, and we do have a quad view now, so you can come in here and the top orthographic view, I don't need to change. I don't need to try to change that at all. That's just going to stay static. And then my perspective view. Then you've got the right and front and top. So what I want to do is just go ahead and I'm going to drop in a cylinder. And what we'll do is we'll just set this up, kind of bring down the size a little bit, and like I say, you don't have to change your views so much as you can just do this. And that's good for the depth. I don't mind it being 32. I think it was set to 32, but if by chance you didn't set yours, you can bring the add cylinder here. Okay, I'm set to 64, so go for 64. That's pretty good. I can scale that down, scale it on the Z a little bit, apply the scale. And anytime if you don't like the quad view, you can just come back to the regular perspective, because sometimes it's a little bit of a pain in the butt. But I'll just do it for this one. So I can grab this, Shift D that a couple of times. And before I do too much to this, I actually want to just grab one of these, and I'll turn off the quad view. And I want to go ahead and shade and auto smooth one of these, but don't put a bevel or anything on it that's going to add a ton of geometry. You can throw a few loop cuts just so it has good support. And now I can go back to that view and Shift D this a couple times. Control J to join. Shift D that, and I'll bring this over here. You can kind of see everything that's going on. And then I can join all these. So these are all the same, so it works out pretty nice. And I'll come back to the regular view. So now what I want to do is I want to boolean these in, and then we'll go into the face selection tools here and we'll start messing around with that. So first off, if you don't have the bool tool enabled, go to preferences, add-ons, type in bool, check this on. You have a couple of selections you could mess with here if you want, but you can leave it completely alone. Then shift right click. So the cylinders are going to be the cutters, and then the plane that we turned into a solidify is going to be the cuttee, so control minus. And what you'll notice is that your shading goes insane. That's just because the boolean is at the bottom. The modifier stack is very important, so just bring that up with the little dots right here and drop it, and then you'll see a very, very nice boolean, and it's a good cut. So at this point you could conceptually just apply everything, grab the cutter, and delete it, since you don't really need that in there. Now for the selection, I'm going to go back over into edit mode, and on face select I just want to grab one of these, and so if I grab coplanar faces, it's going to select everything, and that's very, very useful. So if I kind of test this out and grab area, it's going to grab the immediate area that matches a certain threshold, and so unfortunately some of these will end up inside of that threshold, and I made that specifically so it would, you know, grab a certain amount, but it's not gonna be perfect because every mesh is different. So if I grab the coplanar and then hit Control plus, I can just grab the inside as well, and then Control plus up to the point, for whatever reason you may be doing that. So then I can grab these, and what I'll do is I'll go to the transform and I will put these all on individual origins, and then I can scale these G and Z to maybe bring them down and make something like a little cup holder, whatever. And one more selection here, we can kind of come in, like if you just wanted these loops in here, and obviously, I'm gonna grab the face, obviously you could go through and Shift Alt and select all of these, right? If I just select here and go coplanar, nothing's going to happen. But then if I select coplanar greater, well, then it's going to grab the greater then, and if I come here and select perimeter, then I'm going to get the actual perimeter, and it'll just isolate that. So I've got a few options. Try these. One of these should work for you, and like I said, the area will grab some certain places, but unfortunately be aware it's going to potentially grab your bevel, and you don't want that. So I've tried to isolate the best options here, and the perimeter one seems to be pretty good. So if for some weird reason I wanted to double tap I and create a little inset, and maybe go ahead and let's see, extrude those faces along normals, and I just wanted to kind of bring that out to create another extra lip in there for a little more detail, then I can do that. And the better way to select them, right? So we're trying to make everything easy here. So if you, thanks for watching, guys, really appreciate you. Thanks for supporting the channel, and hit that subscribe and hit that like on the way out. Check me out on the Blender Market. I'm also on Gumroad. I've got a couple of toys up there as well. And I do have a free version that does some similar things. It's not as organized as this, and it doesn't have all the same options, but it's close. And so, yeah, thanks for watching, guys. See you in the next one.